Run the robotics engineer from Rhode Island. Dad, our teacher asked us today to build a robot. Can you help me build one? Sure, son. I am a robotics engineer, and I can help you build a nice robot. What is a robotics engineer, Dad? It's someone like me who uses math and science to build robots, which is what engineering is all about, son. Solving problems using science. So, we can work on that project together. Did the teacher tell you what kind of robot you should build? No, Dad. What kinds of robots can we build? And what is a robot anyway? We can build so many kinds, son. A robot is a machine that does things for us, usually on its own. How can a robot do things on its own, Dad? How can it think? It does not really think like humans, son, at least not yet. We design robots and put sensors, motors, and wheels in them if we want them to move so they can interact with their surroundings. Sometimes we make legs for them so they can walk like humans. The sensors, like cameras, detect things, like a door or a wall, and let the robot know that it should avoid it. How about we think about a particular robot to build? What would you like to build, son? I really want a robot to play with when I am bored, Dad. It would be great if the robot can do my homework too. Uh-huh. If the robot did your homework, then it should be the one passing the class, not you, son. You need to learn as much as you can in school and do all the homework so you can become a robotics engineer like me and build all the robots you want. Okay, let's focus on a robot that you want to play with. Should the robot run around with you, or can it stay in one place? It would be great if it can run around with me, Dad. We can play tag, hide and seek, hopscotch, basketball, soccer, tennis, and if it can swim with me too, that would be great. Couple of things you did not mention in your wish list are you want it to fly and take you places. That would be awesome, Dad. Can we build one that can do that too? So far in our human history, no person or machine can do all these things, son. I think we need to focus on one or two things we can do. How about a robot that you can play tag with? Sure, Dad. Tag is fun. What do we need to build that robot? So, the first thing we need to do is list the things the robot will do. It needs to see you, so it needs cameras. It needs to be able to tag you, so it needs an arm or two arms that can reach out and touch or tag you. Also, it needs to say you're when it touches you, so it needs a speaker. It should be able to hear you and feel you, so it needs a microphone and a touch screen, so it knows you touched it. Also, it needs to run around, so we might put wheels or legs. It can have 2 legs, or 4 legs, or like a spider, 8 legs. Don't make it like a spider, Dad. It will be scary. Spiders are not scary, son. They are very good for the environment. They catch flies, mosquitoes, and other insects. Some are poisonous, and we should avoid them, but all are good creatures. That is a different discussion, son. Let's stay focused. So how tall do you want it to be? My height, Dad. I am almost 5 feet tall, but it can be shorter or taller if you want. With all the things we are putting on it, we must think about the center of gravity, son. You mean the center of the earth, Dad? Yeah, the center of the earth is the center of gravity, but that is not what I meant, son. The center of gravity for something is somewhere in its center, or middle, that makes it balance. For us humans, it is around our belly buttons. So you know when you carry something heavy over your head, and you teeter right and left and almost fall? Yeah, Dad. Well, that is because that heavy thing moves your center of gravity up towards your head, and it becomes more difficult for you to balance. I see, Dad. So, I think we have the list of all the things we need to build the robot. What else do we need to think about? Look, son. How do you want it to look? Robots can take any shape we want, since we are the makers. It can look like a human, or a dog, or a cat, or a wheel, or anything you can imagine. I like it if it looks like a human, Dad, with a face, mouth, ears, and maybe hair. Hair. We need to add a wig to our list. Okay, let's think about how things will be connected. We will get a ball and put 6 openings in it. 2 for the eyes, 2 for the ears, 1 for the mouth, and 1 for the neck where it connects to the body. We will install the cameras in the eye openings and install the microphones in the ears. The speaker will be in the mouth opening. All the wires will connect through the neck opening. We will install 2 arms on the shoulders and put 2 motors on them, 1 motor for each arm to move. We will install the touch screen on the back, so when you run after the robot and it is running away from you, you want to reach the touch screen to tag it. Where will the robot brains be installed, Dad? Will we install it in the ball, or we should call it the head now? It is not exactly a brain like ours, son. It will be a small computer that can process all images and sounds coming from the cameras and the mics and make sounds and talk through the speaker. The computer will also control how the robot moves around based on what it sees. We don't want it to hit everything in its way. So, are we going to install legs or wheels, Dad? I think we can install wheels first. They are easier to control, just forwards, backwards, right and left. Legs are more difficult to balance. The more features we add, the heavier the battery will be. Battery? I forgot about the battery, Dad. Yeah, son. We don't want to connect it to the wall outlet. It will not go far, and it will trip over, so we have to use a battery. Great, Dad. Let's get all the things we need and build it together. Ron and his dad bought all the items needed to build the robot, and they sat together and built it in an afternoon. It looks great, son. We forgot one thing, its name. What do you want to name it? I'll name it Tag, because that is all what it does, Dad. Look at all the parts and the things we put together just to make a robot that plays tag. Imagine if it also plays hopscotch, swims, and flies. It will be really complicated and expensive, and will surely take more than an afternoon to build. I understand, Dad. So, all the parts are connected and ready. Is it ready to play? No yet, son. All this beautiful hardware, or pieces of metal and devices that we connected will not work if there is no software to control them. What is software, Dad? Software is a program that controls the hardware, son. It's like our thoughts that control our bodies. So how will the software work for Tag, Dad? We need to write instructions for Tag so when it is it will turn around and start following you to tag you. When you are it will turn around again and run away from you, and you will chase it to tag it. Why is it so much easier to just play with my brother or sister or our neighbors, Dad? It is so complicated to tell the computer everything the robot should do. Everyone learned how to do everything they do by learning things step by step, just like Tag. This is the challenge of robotics, son. How to make machines be as smart and as versatile as humans. What is versatile, Dad? Do different things. You don't just play tag, son. You also eat, drink, run around, swim, play football and basketball, talk with people, watch TV, and read books. We are trying to make Tag do one thing, play tag with you. That simple game for you and your friends is challenging to teach a robot. Remember when you wanted to teach your younger brother how to play tag? You had to explain it to him, then run away from him, then you chased him. Then one time, he confused it with hide and seek, and went to hide, and waited for you in the closet to find him. Teaching a robot what to do is like teaching a baby what to do from scratch. Got it, Dad. So how do we write the software? How do we put it in Tag's brain? How do we teach Tag? We need to use a programming language to write the instructions that Tag can understand and follow. Then install it on the computer inside Tag, power it up and test it. Programming language? You mean English, Dad? Tag does not understand English or any human language, son. Machines work on batteries or electricity, like the light bulb in the kitchen. It is either on or off. That is the only language machines understand. A programming language, like Python, is written in English, so we humans understand it. The computer inside Tag will translate that into something Tag understands. It feels weird that we need a translator to talk to something we built, Dad. Translation happens every day, son. When you want to speak to someone who does not speak English, you have to translate your words into their language. Just like there are different cultures with different languages around the world, there are different programming languages to tell machines what we want. Like what, Dad? Python, Java, Ruby, C, C++, Lisp, COBOL, and many others. Wow! So many languages, Dad. Yeah, son. We only need to choose one, Python, which is easy to learn and use. Ron and his dad wrote the code or instructions that Tag should follow. The code is simple statements about what to do and when to do it. When Ron touches the touch screen on Tag's back, Tag knows it became it, so it will stop running and turn around to follow Ron and tag him. Tag can see and recognize things using its cameras. Tag has a sensitive glove on its hand, so it knows when it tagged Ron. The game repeats until Ron tells Tag to stop or Tag's battery runs low. Ron and Tag played together and had much fun. That evening Ron had a dream. He woke his dad up the next morning to tell him what he saw. Good morning, Dad. I had a dream last night. I became a robotics engineer and made many robots. I made a robot that can play basketball and another that can play football. I also created a robot that can do spacewalks. It was sent to the space station, so astronauts don't have to go out and face the dangers of space. So amazing, son. Did you create a versatile robot? Yeah, Dad. I created a robot that could walk, run, jump, swim, and play chess. It can also read stories, cook, and clean the house. It is the perfect house helper, Dad. Wow, just what we need, son. I hope you become a robotics engineer one day. I hope so too, Dad. Can't wait.